Hello feeders and new viewers, welcome to the Feeder channel. Today I will be explaining how to counter every single synergy in the new season of Magic Chess. If you find the video helpful, be sure to like the video and leave a comment. Also make sure to subscribe so you don't miss more Magic Chess gameplays, tutorials and guides. Now without further ado, let's get started. Starting with general counters, that is how to counter every synergy generally. The first one is, no matter how strong your synergy is, the heroes can't do anything if they are stunned. So synergies and or heroes, the law of CC, are very dangerous to every synergy. The only exception to this is the Venom synergy, which can still do damage even if their heroes don't do anything. So for this point, you have heroes like Beleric, heroes like Grok, heroes like Akai, heroes like Tiger, heroes like Gatotkacha. All these heroes with CC are able to disable enemy heroes, enemy hypercarries. So if the enemy has heroes like this, you have to be very careful of their position and try to walk around those heroes. Now for synergies with the law of CC, we have the wrestler synergy. The wrestler synergy allows the wrestlers to stun enemy heroes on basic attacks for 2.5 seconds, a whole 2.5 seconds. That is, Moscow can drop 5 basic attacks in that time, and 5 basic attacks could well wipe out an entire team. So the wrestler synergy, that 2.5 second stun on the wrestler synergy is very dangerous to any hero. A stray stun could be the end of everything. And the Guardian synergy is known for its incredible CC, Beleric, Grok, and like I said before. So those synergies are dangerous to every other synergy. So you have to be very careful about them. Then the second point, general counters to every synergy, are shields. Shields in Magic Chess can protect you from so many things. The projectile damage from Archer's synergy cannot go through shields, right? They don't get the bonus damage from distance with the projectiles and the evolution of the Archer synergy. So the shields can protect you from the projectile of the Archer synergy. It can protect you from the stuns from wrestlers. Heroes with shields cannot get stunned. That is why sometimes you just see Freya going through wrestlers, just going through them when she has tagged that shield. You can't stun a hero through shields. Then the mana drain from Mech Era. Mech Era synergy allows the Mech Era heroes to reduce the enemy's mana on their basic attacks. When they have a shield, they cannot reduce the mana. And this also applies to the Swordsman synergy. Swordsmen, when they cast their skills, or if you use their Awakened Evolution, when they use their basic attacks, you cannot trigger the Swordsman synergy through a shield. So shields are very important in this game. Any synergy or a hero with shield generation is usually very dangerous to every hero, to every synergy, right? So if you have a synergy with shields, it's very good. Now let's take a look at how to counter every individual synergy, starting with the Abyss synergy. The Abyss synergy is used more as a support synergy. So if you want to counter the hypercarry of an Abyss, you have to look at the rules. For example, to counter Abyss Archer, you should try to look for how to counter Archers. We'll get to that in a bit. But once you can find a way to handle the Archers, you'll be fine. But one thing you can do about the Abyss synergy is, if you have a fast acting synergy, a synergy that can burst down enemies really quick, it's going to be very good against the Abyss, because the Abyss synergy needs time. You need some time before you can get the max stacks of the Abyss attack speed. So if you can burst down the enemies before that time, then you should be fine. Now let's move to the next synergy, the Archer synergy. Like I mentioned before, projectile damage cannot go through shields. So if your synergy has a shield, if your synergy can generate shields, you'll be fine. Then positioning your heroes closer to the front. Now the projectile evolution increases the damage of Archers the farther they are from and it's like Layla's passive. That is what the projectile evolution basically gives all Archers Layla's passive. So the farther enemies are from them, the more damage they can do. So positioning your heroes closer to the front, position heroes on the front line, can help reduce the damage of projectile. Archers will generally lose to very heavy frontline synergies like Wrestler, like Weapon Master, but it really depends on how the Archers is. If you have just Archers with no front line, once you close the distance between the Archers, the damage is going to reduce drastically, and if you have enough damage, you can easily burst them down. Then for this kind of For this kind of strategy, the flicker battle spell is, if you have a flicker and you put it on someone like Beleric, someone like Gatotkacha, someone like Argos for instance, who can easily tank a lot of damage, then that will give the rest of your team enough time to get closer and do more damage. So that is how you can easily handle the archer synergy. But of course, your team still has to be strong, or they will just bust you down even when you are behind, in front of them. Next up, we have the assassin synergy. To counter the assassin synergy, it's really more about the assassin evolution increases the damage of assassins when the target is not facing them, right? When they're attacking the target from the side or from behind, the assassins are able to do more damage. So if you have a melee hero at the back and the assassins jump back to attack a melee hero, they are not going to get that bonus damage from attacking an enemy's blind side. So putting a tank at the back and putting your like squishy core heroes in front is a very good way to handle assassins. If you have wrestlers, for instance, the wrestlers can easily stun the assassins at the back, and if you have guardians as well, you can easily just put them there to hold them. So that is the surest way to counter assassins. For the evasion evolution, it's just a matter of facing the assassins head on. Don't attack them from behind. Okay, the evasion evolution prevents assassins from getting hits from their blind side, right? So if you're attacking an assassin from behind or from the side, you won't hit him with a basic attack. It has to be from the front. So for that one, it's just a matter of facing the assassins head on, and if you are strong enough, you would win. Now, next up, we have the Astro Power synergy. The Astro Power synergy, like the Abyss, is just an enhancer. So to counter the Astro Carry, you should refer to the roles. Right? To counter Karina, for instance, you should, once you have the assassin, once you know how to counter assassins, then you should be able to handle Karina even if you have the Astro Power. But the heal of the Astro Power synergy can be slightly reduced if you have the Sea Halberd. Now, next up, we have the Cadia Riverlands. The Cadia Riverlands as well is more of an enhancer than a core carry, so can cause synergy. So to counter the specific carries, you have to just check the rules again. Now for the Elementalist synergy, preventing them from casting their skills is the easiest way to counter the Elementalist. Now Elementalist synergy, when the Elementalist cast a skill, they get some mana back. So when you have 6 Elementalists, they get 100% mana back. If you have the Duet evolution, they can get 100% mana 2 times. So that's 3 rapid casts. So the best way you can handle Elementalists is just don't let them cast any skills at all. Synergies like the Wrestler synergy that can stun them before they can cast their skill, or Mech Era that would reduce their mana, their initial mana, is very good for handling the Elementalist. For Guardians, how to handle Guardians, you have the Archer synergy can reduce the defense of the Guardians, making them easier to kill. The Archer synergy also has a damage reduction. The Archer synergy reduces the physical defense of enemies. So if you have the Archer synergy, then Guardians will become a lot squishier. But another thing you can do is the Inspire Battle spell. It ignores 100% of physical defense on the first 8 basic attacks. So that is more than enough for a 3-star Layla to a 3-star Layla can easily bust down a Guardian if she has the Inspire Battle spell. So it's very underrated. It's not just good on Freya. It's on any one shot, on any like single hit high damage hero. The Inspire Battle spell can help you a lot against tanky heroes. Now for Gunner synergy, how to handle the Gunner synergy is tanky heroes, for example Guardians, they're very hard for Gunners to kill unless if you don't have the Inspire Battle spell. Gunners are just, you're not going to, you would see crits, but the crit damage would be very small when you're having a Gunner fighting a Guardian. And again, with the amount of CC Guardians have, the strongest Gunner there is Claude, but if Claude tries to go near a Guardian with all the CC, he's going to die. If he doesn't have a Wrestler Crystal to stun them, right, he's going to die. So Gunners are very, very easily beaten by the Guardians. Next up, we have the Lightborn. To counter Lightborn, the new Lightborn synergy, when a Lightborn hero's HP falls below 30%, they get 30% HP back. And that happens every 5 seconds, 4 seconds, or 3 seconds, depending on the level of the synergy. So if you are able to kill the Lightborn heroes after that first regime, then they would be easier to handle, right? So Lightborn heroes can be easily beaten by high burst synergies and as opposed to slow acting synergies, because then they will just probably keep regenerating their HP while still doing damage to you. Now next up we have the Los Pecados. There is really nothing you can do about Los Pecados, because the Los Pecados synergy is more about who kills the hero, right? If a Los Pecados hero kills an enemy hero, then they get either gold or they could get items, right? So there's really not much you can do, because unless there's a way you can prevent their heroes from killing, which not actually not because it's all about who does the most damage, right? So if Los Pecados is going to do the most damage, then there's really nothing you can do. So you just have to, I guess, be hopeful that the Los Pecados heroes don't get the kills. Then we move to the Mage synergy. The item, the Monastery of Light Vestments. Okay, I don't call it that. Nobody calls that the Oracle. The Oracle item can increase the magic defense of your heroes. It increases it by about 40%, by about 40 points, which is very, very good. Whereas everybody starts with 0 magic defense, even Guardians. So mages can very, very easily bust down even Guardians, even Nature Spirits, even anything. That is how the Mage synergy, that's how strong the Mage synergy is when it comes to their damage. But when you have 40 points of magic defense, then their damage will be significantly reduced. Then another way to counter the Mage synergy is the mana drain of the Mech Era. And mages are very, very dependent on skills. They don't do any, their basic attacks do almost 0 damage. But once they start to cast their skills, trigger their barrier evolution and their frost evolution, they start to become more dangerous. But if you have the Mech Era synergy, then they will not be able to cast their skills. And like I said, their basic attacks are very, very negligible. They do almost 0 damage on their basic attacks, so they are very easy to kill once they don't cast their skills. Now let's move on to the Mech Era. The Mech Era's mana drain, like I said before, the mana drain of Mech Era does not go through shield. So if you have a synergy with shield generation, Northern Vale, Cadia Riverlands, you'll be able to very easily handle the Mech Era synergy. And like I just said now, the synergies that get full mana, that is the Northern Vale and Necrokeep, they can be stopped by Mech Era. Northern Vale heroes get full mana at the start of a round, while Necrokeep heroes get full mana the first time they die. They get full mana and full HP the first time they die. So synergies like that already have sure ways to get mana cannot be stopped by the Mech Era. Now, Nature Spirit. Moving on to Nature Spirit. Now, this is my favorite synergy that we all know. If you follow my channel, you will know that Nature Spirit is my favorite synergy. So I'm going to go a little in depth on this. Now, Nature Spirit, as we all know, Nature Spirits have a lot of HP. When you get the average of everybody's HP and we all share 1 HP bar, we become very, very hard to kill with 50% damage reduction and all that stuff. All these high burst synergies, archers, gunners, everything falls down to the Nature Spirit. And the Nature Spirit is also becoming really popular now. You see a lot of people who are picking up the Nature Spirits and stuff. And there are a lot of people who are looking for how to counter them, which does make me happy, right? Because I've been playing Nature Spirits since I started this game, and it makes me really happy that the synergy is getting popular now. But the ways to counter the Nature Spirit, the first synergy that you have to be very, very careful of is the Venom synergy, because the Venom synergy does HP based true damage. Okay, like true damage, HP, and because it does HP based true damage, once it affects one person, it's going to affect everybody, which means that the Venom synergy can just easily destroy the entire Nature Spirit synergy without even doing anything. If you don't have enough regen, or if you don't bust down the Venom heroes fast enough, you will just watch the Nature Spirits just die every single time. The same thing used to be for the Swordsman synergy, but the Swordsman synergy has gotten, so they are much easier to handle. The Swordsman synergy does true damage, does HP based true damage as well. So fighting against the Nature Spirits is they are very, very good against the Nature Spirits, but now they have been nerfed slightly, so you can't really say that they would do well, right? But they are much easier for the Nature Spirits to handle. And now the second way is items that deal HP based damage, right? Demon Hunter Sword, Glowing Wand, they can do massive damage against it. It's not a very serious counter level, but they can actually do, you would notice they are doing a lot of damage against the Nature Spirits. So that's that. I hope you understood that Nature Spirits, like, don't be afraid of the Nature Spirits again. But if I use the Nature Spirits, of course you should still be afraid, because I am the Nature Spirit. Now we're going to the Necrokeep. Killing the Necrokeep heroes last can reduce the damage done by them when they finally cast it. Now, I mentioned this before. Necrokeep heroes get full mana when they die. Full mana, full HP. They basically resurrect with full mana and everything when they die. Now, if they die first, that means they would still have cover of the rest of their team while they do their damage. Vexana, if Vexana is able to bring 3 lords while you still have to fight against an Aurora and a Javier, right? It's going to be harder. But if you can kill the rest of them first, and then you have to fight Vexana and 3 lords, but if you have to fight them last, then it's a lot easier. If Leomord, if you have the Weapon Master and Necrokeep, you have to fight Freya as well as Leomords on Barbiel and everything. It's going to be much harder. But if you have killed Freya and you only have to fight Leomord, then it's going to be much easier to handle. So killing the Necrokeep heroes last is the surest way to stop to reduce their damage. Now, Northern Vale. I mean, Freya has been nerfed significantly, so I don't really think you don't really need to specifically counter her, but she can still be dangerous here and there. So let's look at how to counter Northern Vale. The number one is the item Hellcut's Curse. It silences heroes the first time they cast their skill. Now, Northern Vale heroes are always going to cast their skills first because they start the game with full mana, which means that the Hellcut's Curse is always going to silence one of the Northern Vale heroes. If it can silence Freya, she's going to lose all her mana, or she could lose all her mana, depending on how the skill, on how the Hellcut's Curse triggers. Right, she could lose all her mana. So you would have to, even a 3-star Freya with no mana, and she could still die before she ults again. So the Hellcut's Curse can be is a very important item. It's one of the best items. Okay, we'll still make a video now ranking every single item on the tier list, and when I make that video, you will see the Hellcut's Curse is an S+ item. So it's very useful against silencing the Northern Vale heroes. Now, spreading out your heroes also can reduce the damage done by Aura. In case it's an Elementalist Northern Vale, right? If you have spread out your heroes in a line or just reduce in a way to damage control, basically, right? Then you would really be able to reduce the damage done by Aura. And finally, the Purified Battle spell can immune Franco's Hook. Or if you don't have the Purified Battle spell available, just put an important hero or a tank hero instead. Now let's go to the Swordsman synergy. The Swordsman synergy cannot be triggered through shields, like I mentioned before. Right, you cannot trigger the Swordsman synergy through shields. Wow, this is I think 17 minutes long. You cannot trigger the Swordsman synergy through shields. So keeping tank heroes behind, and then the next thing is keeping tank heroes behind core heroes can keep the Swordsman from focusing the core heroes first. Okay, so it's like the same way you counter assassins, right? You put your tank heroes at the back so that the swordsmen would have to fight the tanks first while your cores can do the damage. Now we move to Targeman. Right, killing all the new Targeman synergy is if there is still an ally alive, then Targeman hero is going to get resurrected before, is going to get resurrected again as many times as possible until you kill everybody else. So you just have to kill everybody else before killing the Targeman, and you'd be able to handle it. Backline jumping synergy, that is assassin and swordsman, they can easily kill the rest of the team first before coming back to the Targeman. Now we move on to the Venom synergy. Wiping the board before the Venom stacks reaches max is the surest way to beat the Venom synergy, because the Venom, if a Venom stacks, right, and as a stacking is doing HP based damage, so if you can kill all the heroes before the Venom reaches max, then you would be able to easily beat the Venom synergy. A good example of a synergy that can do this is Astro Mage with Odette Hypercarry, right? Odette can easily wipe out the entire board before the Venom can do anything. And then there are some synergies that can even out-heal the anti-heal of the Venom synergy. That is, we have Wrestler Regen, right? The Regen evolution of the Wrestler synergy. You have a hero like Mia who can just constantly stun enemies everywhere, right? She can actually out-vamp the anti-heal from the Venom synergy and even out-vamp the damage. So if you have strong heal, then you'll be able to handle the Venom synergy. Then another one that can handle it is the Astro Power Slaughter. Right, the one that enhances the Astro Power hero the more they kill people. Like I mentioned before, Odette with Odette Astro Mage, Odette Hypercarry can easily, out-sustain the Venom, even out-damage them, out-sustain them, anything. Astro Mage with Odette Hypercarry is very good against damage. Now, the last two, Weapon Master, Sea Halberd can reduce the heal of the Weapon Master heroes, and they can also reduce the shield they get from the Weapon Master synergy. Right, so the Sea Halberd is a very good item. But another thing you can do against Weapon Masters is they are very weak to CC. They are very weak because they can't heal when they are not doing damage, which means that if you have a very heavy frontline synergy, weapon masters are going to actually fall. And that is why Freya actually struggles against Guardians if she doesn't have the Inspire Battle spell. With the Guardians in front, the rest of the team will just kill her. And then finally we go to Wrestlers. Wrestlers cannot stun through shields. Again, like I mentioned before, Wrestlers cannot stun through shields. And strong backline heroes plus heavy frontline heroes are a very good way to handle the Wrestler synergy. Once you have a strong enough frontline with a backline, like the Wrestlers, once a wrestler gets to you in melee range, right, you are basically going to lose 10 times out of 10. Okay, all it takes is one stun and you're dead. But if you're able to separate your carries from tanks, if you have a very strong enough tank and the carry doing the damage, then you will be able to easily handle the wrestlers. Unless they have an AoE wrestler like Claude or Beatrix or Mia, right? Other than if you just have the melee wrestlers, then you will be able to easily handle them just by having a good lineup. Now, a lot of times the deficiency of one synergy can easily be covered by using another one. For example, archers become very weak when enemies close the distance between them, but when you add the Guardian synergy, which can hold enemies in front for a long time, they can do massive damage for free. So combining synergies well and building a balanced lineup is the most important thing in Magic chess. Okay, like I just mentioned, now the archer, once you have archers at the back and Guardians in front doing protecting them, it's very, unless they have backline jumpers like assassins and swordsmen, right, many synergies will not be able to get through, and the archers will be able to do massive damage, right? So building a balanced lineup is very important, right? Another factor to consider in this is positioning, right? Proper positioning and proper counter positioning is very valuable in chess and would go a long way. It could be the difference between getting a sweet spot for your carry to do damage for free or getting one shot in the opening seconds of the round. So proper positioning, I would have to make a separate video on positioning where I explain everything about, from positioning, beginning, the early game, the late game, counter position and everything. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. And if this video helped you learn a little more about how to counter other synergies, counter every synergy in Magic chess, make sure to leave a like and leave a comment. Let me know how you counter how you would counter every synergy in this game. If there's anyone you think I should have added something more, make sure to leave it in the comments. I will try my best to answer everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Perfect execution.